Here we can just make out the casting mark. A bit more work with the scaler should clear it up. Tapping the Horstmann bogies now, we're listening for that hollow resonance, indicating internal corrosion. The rubber here is completely perished. Examining the 20-pounder here, the external rust is quite severe. These mantlet seals are seized and the thermal sleeve remnants are all that's left. Considerable effort to open this hatch. It hasn't been moved in decades. And inside, as you can see, the water damage is extensive. We are carefully removing the corrosion from the Horstmann suspension unit. Now, seating the track pin back into the assembly. And now we gently lower the Centurion MK3 onto the reinforced cradles. Steady now, utilizing the overhead crane.
We're starting with the glacis blade here, using the hot water to strip away decades-elated grime and moss.
We are applying the powerful alkaline degreaser to the engine deck now, focusing on the exhaust silencers. Phase 10.
We're using the wet vacuum first to clear the bulk sludge, then moving in with the absorbent pads for the detailed work.
James disconnects the electrical and hydraulic umbilicals, then uses the overhead crane to slowly lift the 11.
Phase 13. James removes the 20-pounder gun barrel by disconnecting the recoil cylinders, the equilibrator.
We align the press onto the master pin, building pressure to force it through. Then, using the come-along, we kept... Right, now we apply the pressure to the pin here. Careful now. And as you can see, she's starting to move. Now we're
Applying the impact wrench to the final mounting bolt here. We're very careful not to damage the heat shields as we lift this heavy unit clear.
We are disassembling the bogie units now, removing the outer road wheels first, then extracting these, holding these.
Now we lift the Meteor engine clear of the Centurion's rear compartment, making sure all lines are disconnected.
We're using the flat disc very carefully here, focusing on the glass plate. It's crucial not to remove too much of the original.
Here we apply the phosphoric acid converter, allowing it to penetrate and neutralize the residual corrosion before we prime the surface.
Applying the mildew remover now, scrubbing deep into the turret basket and the driver's station. It's vital to clean every crevice. The stripper is working now, blistering the old brown paint. We use plastic scrapers to gently reveal the bare metal beneath. We begin with the 80 grit, carefully working the surface, progressing then to the 180 grit, ensuring a smooth finish.
Applying the high-build, zinc-rich epoxy primer. We're doing multiple overlapping coats here to ensure complete coverage of the steel.
In phase 25, we're using 320 grit abrasive to lightly sand the primed surfaces, preparing for the base coat.
Phase 26. Applying the base coat of deep British SCC2 service brown onto the turret in controlled, overlapping passes.
Phase 27. James applies the semi-gloss clear coat over the SCCC2 service brown base to lock in the color and
We're using a very fine compound here, just lifting the oxidation from the raised letters of the Centurion Mark III.
As the head comes away, we inspect the valves and the piston crowns for signs of wear.
The new piston rings, bearings and gaskets are fitted during reassembly, honing the cylinders where necessary to restore compression and oil control.
We're looking at the Meteor engine's carburetors. I'm cleaning the aluminum housing before replacing these worn brass jets with
The new bearing seats perfectly. Now, checking the backlash with the dial indicator, making sure the end float is spot on. We begin by cutting the new leather hides precisely to the original pattern. Then, the spring bases and padding are...
The hydraulic press applies immense pressure, securing the new rubber pad to the steel link.
First, the coiled springs are seated. Then we carefully align the pivot pins, ensuring a precise fit. The wire brush removes the oxidation from the idler wheel rims, revealing the original bright metal underneath. We're using the correct cotton braided wiring, gently pulling it through the original 1946 conduits. Now, into the junction box.
Installing fresh 24-volt battery packs,
connecting them in parallel with new heavy-duty cables and corrosion-resistant terminals.
First, the suspension bogie needs careful brushing. Then we move to the glacis plate, revealing the original markings beneath the grime. Here in phase 41, we reconnect the fuel and oil lines. It's crucial to double-check every single hose clamp for security.
The audio is characterized by amplified, crisp, mechanical ASMR sounds in a workshop in...
Now we reinstall the 20-pounder barrel into the mantlet. We reconnect the recoil system and the equilibrator.
Using the overhead crane, the turret meets the hull. We must align the race precisely, then secure the bolts in the specified star pattern.
We're reconnecting the umbilicals now. The hydraulic lines are routed through the armoured conduits. Unscrewing the cap now, making sure the aviation fuel flows smoothly, and finally we check the joints for any sign of a leak. Phase 48, a complete torque check on every critical fastener, turret ring, suspension mounts, engine bolts and track tension adjusters of the Centurion.
We're restoring the SCC2 service brown now, using the dual action polisher to achieve that deep, uniform semi-gloss finish while preserving the patina.
Phase 50, applying the final protective wax layer over the SCC2 service brown, buffing it now to a soft, deep sheen. Phase 51 requires meticulous attention to the bright work. We use a fine metal polish on the track pins and the idler rims to achieve this mirror finish. Applying the military-grade grease to the track pins now. We need to see the fresh lubricant purging the old contaminants completely before we stop.
She's alive.
Oil pressure is climbing nicely, temperature stable, absolutely magnificent rumble from the Meteor. Now we monitor the timing. As the temperature rises, we are now gently applying tension to the idler wheel. We're looking for that perfect sag, ensuring optimal track life and a smooth ride. The finish on this glacis plate is superb, and if you look closely at the Horstmann suspension, the alignment is absolutely perfect.
As we pan across the turret cheek, we see the Centurion Mark III casting in sharp relief against the original service brown paint.